You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road.
Thank you. Let me see your wares.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Thank God, health poultices. I will take every one that you own. Both of those. Wow, your health poultices are expensive. Just saying. And your lesser injury kits, please. Now, let's have a look. What do you have crafting-wise? Just flasks. Okay, I was hoping I could get some more elf root off him to make our own potions, but... oh well. Grey Warden hand puppet. Nothing really here. An uncrushable pigeon. What? What? How is that even possible? I'm not going to question it. Rotten onion. How is that? How is a rotten onion a gift? Oh, the spell ward. That is nice. 30% spell resistance. Oh, that's beautiful. But I can't afford it. Nowhere near. Dwarven Merchant's Belt. Increases monetary gain. That's not bad. Not bad at all, actually. But... actually, let's sell some stuff before we do anything else. Weapons. Kinda want to sell these two. Well, I'll sell the dagger, the greatsword, and the longbow. Can definitely sell those. The ooh. That is nice, that war axe. That is nice. Anyway, sorry, can't afford it. Just look away, Ranger. Do I want to sell them? I don't get that much money for them, and they might come in handy later on. I'll wait. Okay, I can get rid of the chainmail stuff, I believe. Let me just compare it to Alistair's, make sure it's not better than what he's wearing. Nope. Nope. Okay. I'll keep my guard armour. I'll sell the small round shield, sell the leather stuff, and sell the soldier's helm. So that's brought us back up to 5 sovereigns. Nothing there that I can sell. Can sell the silk carpet, I guess. Although, I don't know, I kind of want to put that silk carpet up, you know, in the camp. Sell this stuff. Sell the demonic ichor, I guess. I'll keep the death root. Okay. So what do you have weapon-wise? Just what I've sold you. What about armour? Ooh, blood dragon stuff. That's nice. I will eventually get the blood dragon set, but I'm nowhere near strong enough to wear it yet. So, no real point at the moment. Bard's dancing shoes. Tackmasters. Doesn't look like there's really much that could be useful to me. A collar for Spunty. Spell ward. Other. Okay. What do you have? Not much. So at least I got a bit of money and I got some health poultices. That's about it. Okay. So I was just reading the enchanter thing. I thought I had. Yeah, I have 1 lightning rune. So why can I not use it? Let me just go to Alistair and I will give him... actually, he has steel armour. Can he even wear my dwarven stuff? He can. It's better than what he's wearing. But it's heavy armour. Don't look as good as well. I kind of want to go for the steel armour just because, look at that, that is badass. I love that steel armour. But the dwarven armour is better. Go on, Alistair. Wait, how can he wear dwarven armour that fit me? I'm like half the size of him. I'm calling hacks. Just hacks. Okay, fine. Spunty. Ah, poor Spunty. I'm definitely going to install the mod as soon as I can. Sten. You're not really useful. You're very strong, but I'm not really going to be using you, I don't think. Just because I prefer Alistair as a thingy. A guy. A tank, that's the word. Okay,
If there's anything I can do for you, please tell me.
So what's your story exactly?
I suppose since you told me about you being a Grey Warden, it's only fitting for me to be as open. I'm originally from Orzammar, just as you are, I suspect. You don't have the look of a surface dwarf about you. I was a merchant there, too. Merchant caste. These things are in the blood, you know. You can't just leave them behind. I ran a fairly successful business. Rare artifacts, you know. Old things, grand things. The nobles loved them. Reminded them of the lost glory days, I suppose.
Our glory is not lost.
Well, you can think that if you wish, if that gives you comfort, but some of us prefer to look at things as they are and see the truth. But we were talking about how I ended
I'm
up
gonna hit
here,
you.
weren't we? One day, a noble woman came to my store. She looked around for a bit and then started shrieking in dismay. Apparently, she believed that a pair of braces I had for sale once belonged to her brother. He'd been lost in a cave-in, you see, while on an expedition to clear out the Darkspawn from one of the tunnels running close to the city. They were made specially for him. They're unique, she shrieked. He stole them from my poor brother's corpse. She had me arrested on the spot, of course. Nobles, they're touchy like that.
You know, I used to be a noble.
And now you're up here, on the surface.
Good point. My brother betrayed me.
Then you know whereof I speak, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't steal them. You see, I'd been paying these castless thugs to venture out into the deep roads for me. The lost tigers, they're full of things that people left behind. Sometimes you can find a treasure, something worth a little gold.
You stole... Yeah. I'm gonna say 4, just because we are a noble dwarf, you know. And although we did get betrayed by our brother and kicked out, you know, we still have a lot of personal... What do you call it? Personal honour? Sort of like... Yeah.
You know, she said that exact same thing in that exact same tone. The noblewoman, she wasn't too happy with the theft of her brother's braces. I don't know what they planned for me, and I didn't want to find out. Bribed the guard that was watching me and took off for the surface first opportunity I got. Never looked back.
You're quite lucky to have done so well.
I thank the stone every single day. Now, is there anything the boy or I can get you?
You know, you didn't mention your son in that tale.
Ah, yes. I'm married to a fine woman back in Denerim, it's true. She'd give me a son if she could, but that's not likely to ever be.
Why not?
Sandal here. I found him in the deep roads years ago. Abandoned, I think, and he was never quite right in the head. I took him in, and I brought him with me when I came here to the surface. He may not be my blood, true, but I think of him as one.
We left Orzammar.
That's right, boy. Maybe one day we'll see it again.
Okay, so this is from me. Having played the game before, I do know these two characters. I just want to point out that yes, I can't remember what his name is. Is it Bodrick? The father. Yes, he does make money off his son enchanting things. He does use his savant abilities for monetary gain, but the reason that I love him as a character and really respect him is that he didn't know that at first. All he saw was a kid abandoned in a deep road, probably castless, you know. So taking him in would have seriously injured his standing in society among the other dwarves. But he did it anyway. He took him in and treated him as his own son before he ever knew that he had any kind of ability. You gotta respect him. You gotta respect someone that will do that.
It's not as if I don't benefit, mind you. Turns out the boy's a natural working with enchantments. He might have even been lyrium-addled. I never thought of that before, to be honest. Happens sometimes. He can work an enchantment into just about anything, however, given some time. Could probably open his own shop, if he knew how.
Enchantment.
Well, he does seem to enjoy it, at least.
Like I said, he makes money off him, but I can't fault the guy, you know. Bodan, that's the name, Bodan. Gotta have a lot of respect for that guy.
Of course. Good fortune to you and yours.
Goodbye.
Even if he is a little bit of a thief. Morrigan, why is your tent so far away from camp? Do we smell?
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Did you grow up in the wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's just that you can probe me anytime. That just made me laugh. Oh dear. I'm curious, what's wrong with that?
Any number of cats could inform you of the answer to that question, but
Good point.
have it your way. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
But you kept going back.
Would you not do the same? Your world is an unforgiving and cold place. The wilds I hail from is home to me, and I a natural denizen. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Were you hurt?
Was I hurt? What manner of simpering weakling do you take me for? Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be travelling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
I'm supposed to be surprised that you're a good liar. I mean, I'm not even sure I believe this story.
I do not know how well I lie, but I will do whatever I must in order to survive. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
I have no idea. I'm not human.
Do not speak to me of trivialities. Your culture is not so entirely different. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Well, I'm glad it worked out this way at least. Because, you know, the world may be big and scary and complicated, but it's not all bad.
Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then.
He's not a
Not that I
simpleton.
lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
She approves. She likes me. Yeah, Alistair's not a simpleton. He's just a little slow. Hey, Liliana.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
What was life like in the Chantry Cloister?
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
You don't see the irony in that, calling religious folk condescending when you're religious yourself. I'm not gonna go. That's why I'm not particularly fond of them.
When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
To be honest, I kind of prefer her ideas to the idea of the Chantry. At least her ideas is, painted nice Maker instead of a... what would you call it? One that's a bit of a dick.
Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
I like Liliana. Liliana? I have no clue if I'm pronouncing her name right. For those of you wondering, I'm thinking Liliana for my character's romance, just because, as much as his sort of like warrior side would agree with a lot of what Morrigan says, he's a good guy. He's not like. You know how you get these typical, stereotypical military leader that's sort of like, oh, don't care about the civilians, just make sure we win the war, that kind of... He's not that. He's the exact opposite. And, yeah. Anyway, Alistair.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
So you said this Al Eamon raised you.
Oh, did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
That would explain the smell.
Well, it wasn't until I was 8 that I discovered you didn't have to lick yourself clean. Old habits die hard, you know.
That would explain the breath as well, then.
And my table manners, too. Though, come to think of it, they weren't all that different from the other Templars. Or did I dream all of that? Funny the dreams you'll have when you sleep on a cold, hard ground, isn't it?
I dream of becoming a Grey Warden. Oh, wait.
Point taken. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Al Eamon wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
Why did he send you off to the Chantry?
Al Eamon eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
What an awful thing to do to a child.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
You were young, you can't be blamed for that, and I doubt that he blamed you.
And raised my dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Kaelin's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
I really can relate to Alistair. God, the characters in this game are good. God, bloody hell. Spunty, cheer me up.